near or far, that keep us safe and free, and we ask you to be with each and every one of them. Lord, we also come to you tonight and we ask for safety. We ask that you be with each and every one of the drivers, with all of the crews, with all of the fire safety workers, and with the fans. And finally, Lord, we simply come to you and ask that we would know and do your will. It is in the strong and beautiful name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Here with us to perform our national anthem, please welcome 16-year-old singer-songwriter from Oklahoma, Emily Faith.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it for Emily Faith and her performance of our national anthem. Texas Best Delivery Service favors the prize.
Thank you, Caitlin. Well, it's like coming back to see an old friend. You know how it rolls. No limits here. It's big, it's fast, it is Texas. And no one runs the ranch quite like Kyle Busch. The NASCAR rules allow him 5 truck races a year, and so far this season, he's 3 for 3. Can he win a 4th consecutive race tonight? If someone is to stop Kyle's streak, it may be Johnny Sauter. The former series champ has claimed victory here 5 times, including this race a year ago. Or maybe this is the night Stuart Friesen notches his first career win. Last season he was runner-up here, and he's now riding the momentum of back-to-back top 5s. Or how about Matt Crafton? He's ridden into town and carried off the Texas trophy a couple of times. He's saddled up and ready to go for a 3rd Texas win tonight. They're not the only contenders. For more, here's Alan Cavana.
Hey, Vince, and despite a lack of speed early on in the season, Grant Enfinger has delivered. Speed, though, not the issue tonight. He starts this race from P1 on the pole. He's also one of the best drivers at this track since they repaved it 2 years ago. Earlier today, his first pole of the season. Hopefully tonight for him, he's looking for his first win of the season. Hermie?
Well, Alan, one of the big stories of the offseason was our 2018 champion Brett Moffitt heading over to GMS Racing to replace Johnny Sauter. And after a slow start at Daytona, these guys have been rock solid. 3 consecutive top 5 finishes. But Brett told me early today, we are bringing winning trucks to the racetrack, so I need to win with these trucks. I want to take down Kyle Busch in the entire field and go to victory lane tonight here in Texas.
And what a story that would be. Thank you very much, Hermie. Great to have you with us, along with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons. I'm Vince Welch. Kyle Busch, I mean, let's touch on it right away. He's going for his 4th straight win tonight. It's been a historical year already. He's broken the record for most wins in the Truck Series history. He has won his 200th NASCAR race. I mean, how do you put in perspective what he is doing across these 3 series?
It's just unbelievable, Vince, especially when you look at the winning percentage in 2019, the way he's driven that car and truck all year long. He started his 1,000th race last week in Martinsville. Arguably, he's the best he's ever been. Every time he goes on the racetrack, potentially he sets a record for the wins across the top 3 series. It's been fun to watch.
He's won 7 times this year in 12 starts, and the thing that's so amazing, other than the wins, he's led over 1,000 laps in those 12 starts. An unbelievable start to the season.
Going pretty fast right now.
He's running. He's still running.
You can't stop him from running. How about the guys, though, that have challenged him the most, the runner-up at the 3 races in which he's won?
Yeah, I think these guys all are capable of winning this race, but I want to pick Brett Moffitt, the guy Hermie was just talking about. I talked to Brett Moffitt yesterday. I talked to his crew chief, Jerry Baxter. I've never seen those guys more confident in what they brought here to the racetrack with that Allegiant Chevy. They think they can take Kyle Busch down, and it would not surprise me a bit.
Another guy you have to look at is Ben Rhodes. He's starting inside the top 10. Remember last week at Martinsville, Vince, he started outside the top 15, drove up and caught Kyle Busch late and was challenging for the win. He wrote on Twitter, "I got beat by the best today, but I learned a lot." He's going to bring those lessons here to Texas and go after them. And I think Ben Rhodes can get up there and win this race.
Another driver who has been so close to victory. In fact, he's been runner-up 4 times in his career is Stuart Friesen. Another fast truck here for the 52, but they had to change engine yesterday, so he's going to have to start from the back. How big of a challenge is it here at Texas to come from the rear of the field to win this race?
I think he can drive from the back up into the top 5 easily enough, but when you get there, that's when it really gets challenging. What's going to make it fun to watch, Phil? We have a visor cam. We have a camera on Stewart's helmet, and we're going to see all those moves he makes through traffic to get up front. We have the traction compound laid down here at Texas.
We've never had that before here, right?
Never before, and it's been interesting to see the Cup guys and the Xfinity and truck guys just barely tiptoe up into it. You can see how wide it is. The traction compound goes up all the way to a lane off the wall. That's going to make it interesting as these guys attack it for the first couple of laps.
Yeah, most of the guys have been right dead on the bottom of the racetrack for most of the 2 practices yesterday as well as qualifying. They're going to have to move around, Vince. They've got to move around because they've got to pass some people.
Well, and how does that impact the handling of these trucks when they get up and around that traction compound?
I don't think they know, Michael. I talked to a lot of the crew chiefs. They really don't know what that traction compound is going to do when those trucks get up there. It's enough of a guess to practice during the day and then race at night. Those guys really don't know exactly what it's going to do then, but the traction compound is a whole nother variable.
And you know what I love about this track, Vince? Both ends are different. When you go down into turn 1, it's relatively flat and it's hard to get a hold of the surface. Go down into turn 3, conversely, you can run nearly wide open through there. That presents even more challenges for the crew chiefs and the engineers to set these trucks up properly. And if they're not set up well and they start banging off the track down in 3 and 4, that'll really mess up your day. So the variables and the challenges here in Texas are maybe as big as they are anywhere we go.
Well, we had qualifying earlier this afternoon, and Grant Enfinger won the pole. You see his 4th career pole, first time this season. And Brett Moffitt from the front row, his 2nd front row start this season. We've touched on both of these guys a little bit, but starting up front, the track position, the potential mistakes you might make on pit road, how critical is that track position
You
here?
just need to be perfect from the word go. We saw it last week in the Cup race with Brad Keselowski. He controlled that race all day long. You need to be that way tonight.
Perfect indeed, especially if you plan on beating Kyle Busch tonight here at Texas. Let's get that command to fire these engines and get it rolling.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to give the command to start engines in tonight's Vankor 350. Please welcome Vankor founder and CEO Ken Goggins and his family, Mandy, Abraham, Benjamin, Grayson, and Malachi Goggins.
Drivers, start your engines!
The Gander Outdoors Truck Series has raced at Texas Motor Speedway more than any other venue. We're about to do it again now. Series rolls into Texas. And they're 3 wide for second now.
Gather around the fire, boys and girls, and I'll tell you the tale of the drivers who have wrangled a track called Texas Motor Speedway. First, there was the outlaw Brendan Gaughan, who without mercy outdueled the field for 4 straight wins. Then there was the cowboy known simply as the Onion. Todd Bodine's record 6 trips to victory lane are still legend around these parts. The driver in the saddle today, none other than Johnny Sauter, who's got Todd's record in his sights. Will Johnny add to his legend, or will another driver spoil the rodeo?
Oh, yeah, on the view of Big Hoss, we're about to go racing the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. Race number 5 of 23 this season for the Gander trucks. Let's go downstairs, check in with Hermie.
Well, Vince, this is Marcus Richmond. He's a crew chief for Todd Gilliland. You guys looking for that first win together. You came really close at this racetrack before, but you start 16th tonight. What's the biggest challenge you'll face trying to get your way to the front?
Well, our JBL Tundra was really good in practice in traffic, so that's the main thing. We was a little conservative in qualifying. It don't take much to be off, and you're starting 16th. So biggest thing is Todd's got to go execute, and we got to execute on pit road tonight.
Alan?
Well, Austin Hill in this race last October finished a top 5 for a different team. Now he's on the championship defending team. Top 5 last year on a different team. What can he do with your guys tonight?
You know, practice went pretty well yesterday. The Safe Flight Toyota team executed very well. We had pretty good speed. The balance was pretty good. We got both sides of the fence, a little loose, a little tight, depending on how you entered the PJ1 down there in turn 1 and 2. But, you know, tonight's all about track position and staying up clean air and executing a race.
Track position means the potential for strategy, guys.
It is indeed going to be key tonight. Speaking of the track, let's take a look at that Gander Outdoors track description, Michael.
We talked a lot about it earlier, how both ends are different. You can see it's 1.5 miles in length. Turns 1 and 2, banked at 20 degrees. 3 and 4, you can really lean on that banking, 24 degrees. This is a great racetrack for the trucks. They're going to run nearly wide open around this place.
Just take a look at our race analysis. You see this race is 147 laps, a little bit over 220 miles, 3 stages. The first stage will end lap 35, second one will end lap 70, and then the final stage of 77 laps means we'll have a pit stop in that final stage. Our pit window under green flag conditions, 50 to 55 laps.
Our starting grid will come in there at the bottom of your screen, and you can see the lineup for tonight. 32 trucks led by Grant Enfinger and Brett Moffitt on the front row. Enfinger first pole win of the season after terrific qualifying effort this afternoon. Who are we going to talk to, Mike?
Let's see what Stuart Friesen is up to. Stuart, it's Michael and the boys up in the Fox booth. You copy?
Yeah, Mike, I got you.
Well, first of all, thank you for carrying that awesome visor cam for us. We're going to get some great views. Congratulations, you're starting 9th. By the way, you have to go to the back, though.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Halmar team worked really hard this morning getting motors swapped, and a little bit slower than what we wanted in time trials there, but, you know, made some good notes and got ourselves a decent pit spot for the next race, which is, a couple months away here at Dover. So we'll do what we can from the back here.
Well, you're used to racing 20, 30 lap dirt races from Canada. How are you going to attack this race? You're going to the back. Are you confident about that traction compound and being able to run on the high side?
Yeah, we'll see. It seems like the track's got more grip than what I've been used to here before. My little bit of experience, so hopefully there's something out there in 1 and 2. But you know, if not, our 52 Silverado is fast. It was really, really good race trip. So hopefully we can you know, fight our way up through.
All right, buddy. Have a good time. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys, and thanks to all our modified fans for watching at home.
Friesen, runner-up here in this race a year ago, and we're seeing that great onboard view that he's going to bring us throughout the course of the race tonight. What else we got, Phil?
Why don't we ride with Matt Crafton? That's the Menards Ford. Matt is going for a 16th straight top 10 finish here at Texas. That's a record in this series, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him battling for that win. He will be starting from the 12th spot.
That's incredible. 15 straight.
All-time record
10s.
in the series for any racetrack.
Tyler Ankrum in the 17 tonight.
Great qualifying
Alrighty,
effort.
boys. Thanks for all the hard work. Appreciate it. Guys on the wall, be smooth for me tonight. I'll be smooth to you. I'll take care of her and bring her home. Thanks, guys. Hey, man. Sounds good.
Turned 18 years old earlier this month, so this is his first opportunity to race on a 1.5 miles.
Sound like a real leader there, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't sound
And very mature as well.
That's right. And an 18-year-old getting ready to make a start at Texas Motor Speedway. We talked about big speeds and how tough this track is. He's got the right attitude. And if he's able to do just that, Vince, bring it home to the guys after 350 tonight, it's going to be really fun to watch.
Indeed. 32 trucks lined up. 16 rows of 2. 5 of the 7 fastest truck races of all time have been run right here. Johnny Sauter, a 5-time winner, trying to tie Todd Bodine's record of 6 Texas wins. For the 43rd time, the trucks racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. It is big, bad, it is fast, it is Texas, and it is green. We've seen some trucks have a difficulty coming off turn 2 between 1 and 2 and getting a little bit loose. Everybody made it through there safely, but we'll keep an eye on that part of the track tonight.
I like the looks of that second groove so far, guys.
Yeah, Kyle Busch drove up on the outside of Sheldon Creed and made his way through turns 3 and 4 and is going to get that spot down the front.
So it's Enfinger in the lead and Moffitt in second. Just as they started, they were the front row starters. Here comes Kyle Busch challenging last year's ARCA champ Sheldon Creed for 3rd. How about that? Former Cup champ, Monster Energy Cup champ, and the ARCA champ battling side by side.
Only here in the Truck Series, Vince.
I gave the Cup champ that spot a little too soon. Sheldon said not so fast, was able to hang on the bottom, but Kyle eventually cleared him.
Austin Hill in 5th as they've gone single file. Moffitt taking a look outside of Enfinger, getting a push from Kyle Busch.
What a great move by Brett Moffitt. I'm telling you, I've never seen such big smiles on the faces of Jerry Baxter and Brett Moffitt.
These trucks really draft, and you can see Kyle Busch pulled to the outside with Moffitt, and they were both able to get around Enfinger. But I just think Moffitt's truck's better than Enfinger's right now. I know he made the pass, obviously, but he was just all over the back of them. So that move showed me that the 24 car, like you said, Phil, is as bad as it's ever been.
Now Kyle Busch looking inside of Moffitt for the lead and getting it.
He used that draft coming off.
Oh, he gets loose.
Got loose, had to wrap it up, save it. Caution is out on the front stretch, and down into turn 1 is the 4 of Todd Gilliland.
What an idiot.
Wow.
Somebody in that team's opinion
Get the grill clean.
must have dumped him.
Get the grill clean.
Look at the back of that truck.
I think they can overcome that damage, Phil. Sounded like the spotter, someone felt like there was contact. He was racing in the 11th position.
Looks like maybe somebody ran into the back of him, and that got him a little bit up into the outside wall.
You remember he nearly won this race when we were here in November, and now not even 5 laps in, he's having trouble.
Within a half a lap of winning this race last year when he ran out of fuel.
There's the 30 of Brennan Poole. A little bit of something on the front. Doesn't belong.
Poole's running in 11th, and that's where they were fighting, so that's probably the...
If we can see it off in the
he
distance.
just squeezed him into the wall there, it looked like.
But it was the white truck. Is that Ross Chastain?
It is Chastain
Ross.
in the 45. And fortunate for Gilliland, there wasn't more damage than was actually done there. Yeah, I'm not sure that Chastain squeezed him at all, did he?
Didn't look like it. That was an aluminum crush panel that came out from under that truck. That's what we saw in the front of the 30 of Brennan Poole. There it is right there.
Let's take one more look at this and see if maybe Gilliland just got loose here as compared to being
Well, Ross
squeezed
him all the way up to the wall, and it's probably some loose stuff up there. They typically don't go that wide at that point in the racetrack.
After second look at that contact, that's pretty significant. Phil, I'd be surprised if not some suspension damage to that Ford truck of Gilliland. There's Chastain just racing hard early in the going. Looked like maybe Ross crowded him up a little bit.
Well, an early caution is nothing new. Have them frequently here at Texas. Early laps of the Gander Outdoors Truck Series.
I'm sorry. I thought he'd lift. My fault. 10-4, man. 10-4. All good.
That sucks.
Major League Baseball regular season's underway, and tomorrow a couple of the biggest free agents hitting the field with their new teams. First, it's Bryce Harper and the Phillies taking on Freddie Freeman and the Braves. But the Giants facing off against Manny Machado and the Padres. All starts 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
That might be Bryce Harper's bat right there.
You know, he could even Bryce Harper could hit with that bat. I think that was an aluminum bat. That would imagine he would be. It would be a weapon in the hands of Bryce Harper. What kind of damage to that 4, Hermie?
Well, a lot of right side damage as well as some around the left rear as well. They spent a lot of time working around the right rear area of the spoiler. There's the crew chief, Marcus Richmond, who orchestrated that repair. But a lot of bare bond tape and a lot of attention paid to the right side of the truck, especially around the right rear spoiler area. You can see one of the braces on the spoiler is broken.
That's damage to the truck. How about the damage to the confidence and the psyche of this 18-year-old Todd Gilliland?
He just doesn't know, Michael, what that thing's going to feel like when we get back going. This is a very aerodynamic racetrack with speeds upwards of 185 miles an hour.
And he was very confident about his truck in race runs. We talked to Marcus before the race. They thought they had a great truck for the long haul, and this certainly has damaged that truck. It'll be interesting to see how it runs. And like you said, he doesn't know yet.
Radio from the 45 that was involved with that incident of Gilliland.
I'm sorry. I thought he'd lift. My fault. 10-4, man. 10-4. All good.
I believe if I was a spotter, I'd pass that information along, that it was a mistake that I made, so that when Gilliland catches him, if that's the case, he doesn't decide to pay him back. That wasn't good on lap 3 or 4.
No, you don't need to be blocking anytime, especially that early in the race. And apparently that's what Ross was alluding to, that he thought he would back off as he was squeezing him.
Brett Moffitt on the inside, Kyle Busch on the outside, back green here at Texas. Moffitt getting a little push from Grant Enfinger. Kyle Busch hanging in there on the outside.
Remember, as we went to caution, Busch had gotten really sideways down in turns 1 and 2, so lack of grip there about cost him.
We talked about it. That is a tricky part of this racetrack. 4 degrees less banking than over in 3 and 4 right here.
Sheldon Creed working Enfinger for third, side by side.
That's good racing right there, side by side, back through the top 6 or 8.
Yeah, Austin Hill and Ben Rhodes. That's Rhodes in the 99 on the outside in row 3.
Johnny Sauter got really loose. He had Ross Chastain right behind him.
What is it about that part of the track that creates that issue?
Like we saw in the Gander Outdoors track description, it's just flat and you don't have a bank to lean on. And plus, Vince, right here, turns 3 and 4 is banked more. You've got all this momentum coming down the front straight with that big draft. As fast as the truck will go into the turn, and then it just flattens out on you.
Watch the 13 there, the Tenda truck of Johnny Sauter.
Look at him in there fighting that wheel.
Johnny, still there. Clear, clear, clear. Super free, the 13.
That was a great job by Ross Chastain to avoid Johnny Sauter. Johnny had to have some more racetrack.
What about Brett Moffitt? He stepped it out a bit on Kyle Busch, and they've both driven away from third place running Sheldon Creed in that 2 truck.
Jordan Anderson and Johnny Sauter. And here comes Stuart Friesen. Remember, Friesen had to start at the tail. He's up to 15th.
What a great,
we got a spinner.
It's Harrison Burton. Trouble for both the young KBM drivers. First Gilliland and now Burton, and that is heavy damage.
A lot more damage to that truck than his teammate Todd Gilliland's.
I'd say that could about end it for young Burton.
From seventh place at the time, and I think it was right over in that same area that we had been talking about, guys.
It certainly was.
I'd have to see a replay, really. Like 45 got in there. I don't know if he got all the way to the bumper or not. But he rolled in, then I just seen you spinning.
Let's take a look here. There's the 45 of Chastain right behind Burton, but no contact.
No, that's just racing, and like we talked about in the opening of this show tonight, how difficult turns 1 and 2 is. We see it there again. Now, certainly.
17 outside bumper behind. Clear, clear.
Certainly.
Stay low, stay low.
Chastain's truck being that close to Burton made him looser, and it probably was just enough to put that truck out of control.
Ross had been working the outside of the race truck. I saw him get by the 88 of Matt Crafton on the outside.
But no blame assessed to Chastain
totally
there,
not.
is there?
Not at all.
Totally not.
But it is interesting that Chastain has been the closest in proximity to both the KBM trucks having some problems.
Well, we might could hang
here early.
We might could hang the first one on Ross, but that certainly was just a racing incident for Harrison Burton. He didn't handle the close proximity of Chastain behind him, and it made him loose.
Well, it's unfortunate for both Burton and Gilliland because both those guys were trying to come back from races that they didn't get a result they were pleased with a week ago. Burton was 11th at Martinsville and Gilliland was 15th. So under caution for the second time here at Texas.
It's
Welcome back to the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Texas Motor Speedway under caution for the second time tonight. Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks have brought out both cautions. First, it was Todd Gilliland getting into the wall, and now Harrison Burton. You see the repairs on Gilliland continuing as he has come back down pit road to further address the damage on his truck.
They've done a nice job on that Ford truck doing the damage repair.
And they're fine-tuning with tape and hammers now on the Ford truck, Vince, but this one I think's in trouble.
So a couple of young drivers for KBM off to a tough start. But the boss still sits up there on the front row for this restart, Kyle Busch. How about more on what's happening with Burton, Hermie?
Yeah, you can see the damage, obviously, Vince, but now the 18 truck has stalled, and Harrison Burton cannot get the truck refired. So from bad to worse for the 18.
Oh, nothing lights up, all gauges.
Radio from Johnny Sauter and the 13 team.
Sideways getting in. I mean, I feel like I'm pulling a wheelie, getting out into the corner, and you put wheeling in, it finally loads up, and sideways all the way into the center, and then it gets tight across the middle. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I know that he was very, very animated about his truck, but that's the kind of information he's got to give his crew chief and the engineers so they can think about what all he's talking about and come up with a plan to attack it, make the changes on that first pit stop.
And another new wrinkle, this is the first time these truck guys have run this combination of left and right side tires from Goodyear. The Cup guys and the Xfinity guys ran this same tire last fall, but this is the first time the truck guys have been on it.
And it's the first time the traction compound has been put down on the racetrack here at Texas. First time ever that they have used, and don't know that that's creating any of that feel or issue, but worth noting.
You got to tip your cap to Marcus Smith, Eddie Gossage, the people here at Texas Motor Speedway. They said we just think it might make the racing better. And I think what we've seen so far, we've talked about the struggles of running too wide here at Texas on this new reconfiguration, and we've seen a lot of it.
Yeah, I think it's been good.
Of course, trucks running tonight, the Gander Outdoors Truck Series, and then on Sunday, the Monster Energy Cup Series. Going to do battle right here at Texas Motor Speedway. Race day, 1:30 Eastern on FS1, and then at 2:30 Eastern, switch over to Fox as race day continues right up until the drop of the green flag around 3 o'clock.
How about Jimmy Johnson this afternoon, huh?
Yeah, earning pole position.
I'm glad Kyle's over on the back straightaway. This is not the sight he was hoping to see from his two young racers. We're just getting word that the 18 of Harrison Burton is out of the race because of too much damage to his truck.
And hopefully Kyle's not taking a look at Big Hoss over there on the backstretch where he sees his cars or his trucks being addressed just as Kyle is going by Big Hoss. How about that screen? It's the second largest screen in the United States, 218 feet wide, 94.5 feet tall.
And when you're riding around under caution, you can't help but watch it. I mean, you're going to want to see what's on that big screen.
I mean, it's a half acre. I mean, there are homes on yards that aren't that big.
I was watching a pace lap, and the trucks were coming off of turn 2, and it looked like somebody turned the lights out. That's just because the shot changed from Big Hoss, from a very lit shot to something a little bit darker.
Well, after a couple of cautions, we're just about halfway through this first stage. Always fun on the restart. You've got Brett Moffitt on the inside, Kyle Busch on the outside, and we're back green.
Boy, Sheldon Creed was on it. Brett Moffitt's teammate shoving Brett Moffitt into turn 1.
Creed doesn't race like a rookie, does he?
Sure doesn't. He's very, very aggressive.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, Phil. He likes to roll. You can see Grant Enfinger down on the bottom, taking through Creed 3 wide.
Moffitt still trying to hold off Kyle Busch at the front. That's Ben Rhodes right there lurking in third.
He's going to give a nice shove to the back of Moffitt. Nice swings high with Busch.
Still side by side, Moffitt and Busch for the lead.
How about a Chevrolet and a Toyota battling for the lead, and a Ford right behind him in third.
Moffitt gets it. Kyle looked at the crossover, and we've got more trouble, and that's Angela Ruck that's into the wall.
Gus Dean as well hits that inside wall. Tyler Young's truck.
That was actually in front of Angela's truck that was into the outside wall.
Back there at about the 16th and 17th spots at the time. Angela Ruck, the first of her 12 races with Nice Motorsports. There's Gus Dean's damage.
Here, guys, all right side, right rear.
Angela made
Do what you can to get it back here, Gus.
one of the nicest saves you can make during the qualifying session over in turns 3 and 4. Not quite so fortunate this time.
Looked like she was racing inside of Gus Dean's truck, got into Dean. Running well, made some progress early in the race, but just too much speed for conditions down in turns 1 and 2.
Gus tried valiantly to save that truck. Looked like he had it saved a couple times and just got up behind in the steering a little bit.
Yeah, that was Dean, the one in front there, and Angela Ruck further back. But heavy contact for both. Yeah, let's start it from the beginning here. We'll freeze it, and then there's Angela Ruck here in the orange and white.
She had already gotten into Dean and lost control. And like you said, Phil, watch Gus fight this thing. And Cody Robaugh in that 9 truck just barely slipping by on the inside.
So Angela Ruck out of her truck and walking to the ambulance. And Gus Dean has come to pit road, and he will hope that his Tyler Young's Motorsports group can repair that one enough to continue. Wow, it's been eventful already. 20 laps in, and we've already had 3 cautions. Brett Moffitt still out front at Texas.
You want to give up those stage points? If it's that bad, you're 8th. That's 2 stage points. You got to tell me I'm not driving it. It's your call. We'll go with it, whatever you want. Well, here's the deal. If we don't come now, you only get 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's either 4 now or 2 later. That's all I'm thinking.
Series rolls into Texas. And they're 3 wide per second now. Contact all over the place. He's got a problem. I think he's got a problem. Justin Haley's going to win at Texas. Certainly drama here last fall, and more of it here tonight. Under caution for the 3rd time in stage 1, and pit lane was open, but there weren't any takers other than Todd Gilliland and Gus Dean coming to get a little more repair done on their trucks. There was some conversation about it, though, in the 88 of Matt Crafton's team.
You want to give up those stage points? If it's that bad, you're 8th. That's 2 stage points. You got to tell me I'm not driving it. Your call. We'll go with it, whatever you want. Well, here's the deal. If we don't come now, you only get 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's either 4 now or 2 later. That's all I'm thinking.
They decided to stay out.
I'm going to go with 2 later. I want that track position. I think that if he's struggling now, probably a little bit loose, then those 2 tires might tighten it up, and they can certainly make an adjustment. Junior Joyner was saying if we pit now, it's 4 tires. But if you stay out, we only get 2 when we come to the caution. That tells you how important track position is.
And Michael, we've only had about 10 green flag laps. We've had so many caution laps here, so I think it was a good call to stay out.
And is that also an indication of how important those stage points are? I mean, even if it's just talking about a couple?
Absolutely. Well, and actually, technically, it was 3 points. He's running 8th right now, so you get 1 point for 10th, 2 for 9th, 3 for 8th. So Junior's math was off by 1 point, but still a good call, I think.
What about Stuart Friesen? We talked about him marching through the field. I said it would be...
So we talked to him.
Yeah, we talked to him about it, and we said it would be easy for him to get up toward the front, toward the top 10, even maybe top 5. But now he's in 11th. It's really going to start getting tougher and tougher. And I would guess that this team, Trip Bruce and the boys, will put 2 tires on him when we come to the end of this stage.
I don't think he's done passing trucks either. He's passed trucks just about every lap. I think he moves well up into the top 10 by the end of this stage.
And how about the 4 of Todd Gilliland? After that early contact, he's been to pit road 5 times as Marcus Richmond, the crew chief, and his team have worked on that truck and done repairs. And hey, it's not looking too bad, all things considered.
If those 4 wheels and tires are pointed in the same direction, the right direction, I think he's going to be fine aerodynamically. I think they've done a nice job. Just don't know what kind of suspension damage might have been done.
And not the case for his teammate Harrison Burton. He is already back in the garage, done for the night. Moffitt inside, Kyle Busch outside, and we're back green. 11 to go in stage 1.
How about Ross Chastain, that white truck, 3rd row on the outside. Another great run for Ross going here, running in the 6th spot right now.
Side by side, 5 rows back. Kyle Busch and Brett Moffitt still side by side for the lead. 10 to go in stage 1. That spot right where they are is where the issues have been taking place today. Coming off that turn 2.
And man, Vince, they're racing so tightly together.
Sheldon Creed, the 2 truck, moves to the inside of Ben Rhodes. That's a battle for position, the battle for 4th.
Friesen inside the top 10 now. That's Matt Crafton just ahead of him in 8th.
Before him.
Rhodes and Creed swapping positions back and forth.
Austin Hill, the 16, the black and red truck right behind Creed.
For the lead after Moffitt had lost it to Kyle Busch. Now Moffitt using that draft to try to get it back.
Kyle just able to hang on that right rear fender of Moffitt.
Still out there. Lane up. Stand in front of you in the grass. Caution's out.
Caution back out, and it's the 12 of Gus Dean again. And the 87 of Timmy Hill may be involved in that as well. Fourth caution here in stage 1. Well, the pit crew's getting to work.
See the Xfinity race tomorrow. If these guys run on Saturday and Sunday like they are tonight, I want to have a ticket for this for these races. This is good stuff. I know it's crashing, but it also shows you how tough this is. Dean, I think, just had that right rear tire rubbing, Phil.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like Timmy Hill was not part of that. Indeed, Hill was coming to pit road already earlier. Looked up and just saw him on pit road at the same time that Dean was going through the grass.
You can see that right rear tire is down, as Michael said.
Getting late here in stage 1. Brett Moffitt, the leader. The last two.
They got to fix Angela's truck too, you know.
Maybe they could get 2 of hers.
Late laps here in stage 1 at Texas, the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Kyle Busch came to pit road under caution, and he brought a long line of trucks with him.
I like that plan, Vince. I think Busch's truck wasn't exactly like he wanted it, even though he's racing for the lead, probably an adjustment, but more importantly, track position. We're going to have a caution here when this stage ends, and all the leaders are going to come to pit road, and he'll stay out.
And Kyle Busch didn't have much to complain about before that pit stop, just a little loose going into the corner. I talked to his crew chief, Rudy Fugel, before this race, and he said he's just got to be prepared for everything. We might have some strategy. That means he'll be running in the back of the pack just a little bit for some laps, so we have to be prepared to lead. We got to be prepared to deal with some traffic. Kyle Busch, everything going according to plan right now on the 51.
Well, we saw a little bit of that strategy because Kyle Busch came in, took 4. Ross Chastain came in, took 2.
Yeah, I think we'll see Kyle Busch make his way back up into the top 10 before the end of this stage.
Those guys pitting moved Tyler Ankrum all the way up to the 7th position, just behind Stuart Friesen. You can see Stuart in the blue and white 52 truck there from the back to 6th, and he's on the outside. I think he likes it up there. Watch for a big restart from Friesen.
Been a very impressive race for Stuart Friesen.
And Tyler Ankrum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, we talked about the strategy of Kyle Busch taking 4 and Ross Chastain taking 2, but they're only 1 position difference. So really in Chastain's situation, he only took 2 tires, gained 1 spot.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like to think you'd gain a little bit more under that set of circumstances.
But he'll also get a good heads up on what's going to happen in that final stage, how 2 tires will affect that truck.
There you see Chastain and Kyle Busch restarting side by side.
Matt Crafton finds himself all the way back in the 18th position behind those trucks we were just talking about, and we know he didn't like the way that truck was handling. Junior Joiney, the crew chief, team, hopefully made some adjustments that he can improve with.
I think it was a great opportunity to come in and work on that truck. Again, he was at the tail end of the top 10. He's not giving up a whole bunch of stage points by doing that, I don't think.
It's going to be a Texas shootout to the green and white checkers and end of stage 1. There will be 4 to go when they get the green. Brett Moffitt on the inside and Grant Enfinger outside.
We have some pretty good pushers in the second row, don't we?
Oh! Moffitt got loose and saved it.
Still 3 clear high.
Well, that end of the track.
Look at Johnny Sauter making a dive to the bottom.
On board with Friesen.
inside, 16, right at the bumper. Right at the bumper, back to the door, inside.
Austin Hill inside of freezing there for position. Meanwhile, Sheldon Creed challenging Grant Enfinger for the lead.
I just hope they make it 2 more laps. They're racing crazy, but that's what our truckers do.
We talked to Sheldon Creed during qualifying, and he said we have a fast short run truck. We need to be able to run fast longer than 10 laps, and he's been able to do that this stage.
The rookie Sheldon Creed
Look at this
battling
big push
with Enfinger, but Enfinger gets a big push from Rhodes, and that's going to push Enfinger to the lead.
Pair of ThorSport teammates working together there to jump up in the first and second.
I get a little help from my friends, and that was timely for that push on the back of Enfinger that Rhodes made.
Final 2 laps here in stage 1.
How about Kyle Busch inside of 3 wide there, going by Jordan Anderson into 3, and now trying to get Johnny Sauter.
Jordan up in the top 10 with a nice run in this stage in that black number 3 truck.
Final lap in stage 1. Enfinger in front, Rhodes in second.
Look at that line by Rhodes, that left front corner, right down on the apron of the racetrack, and he makes some good ground there.
Door to door for the lead on the final lap of stage 1. A couple of teammates.
What a great battle.
Who's it going to be?
Coming to the checkers, green and white, and it's Enfinger winning the stage. First stage win of the season for Grant Enfinger.
Kyle Busch made it all the way up to the 8th position.
Grant Enfinger, the pole win earlier this afternoon, and now wins stage 1 at Texas. The NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series from Texas Motor Speedway. Stage 1 is complete. The pole winner, Grant Enfinger, wins stage 1, and man, did he have to earn it. Great battle side by side with his teammate Ben Rhodes, and you see Enfinger gets the playoff point and the 10 points. Kyle Busch made his way all the way back up into 8th, but does not, of course, get points in the end of the stage because he's not running for the Gander Trucks Championship. Pit stops. Let's check with Hermie.
Well, Vince, the 99 of Ben Rhodes is a little bit tight on exit, but since they think they'll be restarting in traffic, they're going to do a track bar adjustment, fuel only on the 99, Alan.
Grant Enfinger in the 98, the center of your screen there, says he started off loose to start the race, but the truck got better as it went on. You see, it looked like just fuel only on the 98. As for the 52, remember, he started in the back of the field for this run. In the pits right now, just a little tight, but not too bad for the 52 of Stuart Friesen driving through the field.
Yeah, what a great job from Friesen. As Alan mentioned, started at the tail because of that engine change yesterday. Ends up finishing 3rd in stage 1. A longer stop there for the 2 of Sheldon Creed.
As well as Stuart.
Yeah,
we know that Stuart put 4 tires on.
I don't know what the problem was with Creed. Looked like an issue on that pit stop. Phil, why don't you talk to our stage winner?
Hey, Grant Enfinger, Phil Parsons and the boys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Phil.
Well, you proved that truck was fast in the qualifying and then had a great spirited battle with your teammate to get that stage win. How are things looking?
Yeah, overall good. It was fun there. Ben gave me a little shove there, got us out front, and then we got the battle there at the end. So overall good. I mean, we got good grip. Just telling our spotter, Chris Lambert, it's all about just timing those runs. You know, it seems like a couple guys get ganged up behind you, you're a sitting duck. So a lot of fun out here.
Grant, I hate to be the bearer of bad news because I'm sure Jeff Hensley would tell you, but apparently you have a penalty, somebody over the wall too soon, so probably going to have to go to the back, bud.
Yeah, news to me. That is, thanks for the bad news, Phil.
Sorry, buddy. Make it up.
Phil, he's not going to like you talking to him on the radio if all you're going to do is bring him bad news.
Phil, you might ought to call him back and tell him that Stuart Friesen made it back through there. He'll be fine.
Coming back for stage 2 at Texas. Put a big X through him.
Yeah. Do a spot shadow.
Having a lot of fun tonight, and it will carry over to tomorrow, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, right here on FS1 at Texas Motor Speedway. It's a big race as they set the stage for the first dash for cash. See it tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, here on FS1. Sheldon Creed back behind the wall. What's going on there, Hermie?
Well, Vince, it's a broken jack bolt in the right rear of the two. You can see them. They got the truck jacked up and trying to repair that. But he came on the radio a couple laps prior to the end of that stage, and obviously something was amiss. He was up front, all of a sudden fell to the back. But the diagnosis is a broken jack bolt on the two. Also want to update the 13 of Johnny Sauter. Last time on pit road, had the hood up. I thought it may be something with the engine, but they were taking rounds out of the front of that truck. They're trying to get the splitter of the 13 off the racetrack.
Great information, Hermie. Well, Phil broke the news. You heard it talking to Grant Enfinger about the penalty for Enfinger and that 98 team for having a man over the wall too soon. Now watch the 98 come into his pit box, and
you got to be past that red line before crew members can be over the ball. The gas man can be over, but the guy on the front there that Phil just circled, he can't be there.
Costly penalty, so Enfinger, who won stage 1, has to do the drive-through penalty, and how frustrating that must be for crew chief Jeff Hensley and company.
If anything's good news, Vince, like we said, Stuart Friesen flew through this field, so Enfinger can do the same thing.
Stage 2 getting ready to roll with Kyle Busch inside and the two-time Texas winner Matt Crafton in that 88 outside. Bubba Wallace right behind Crafton. Ross Chastain is in the green and white 45.
Austin Hill making it 3 wide, jumping around the 9 of Cody Robaugh.
Pretty mixed up top 10 we have, huh? Robaugh up in there. There you see Chastain. He's been in the middle of a lot of activity tonight, and he's battling down on the bottom of Matt Crafton.
Crafton gets the position, second. Behind Busch. Here comes Austin Hill for position, getting inside of Alfredo for 5th.
Alfredo fights back on the outside. I'm liking what I'm seeing on the outside.
Loving this track. The job that Texas Motor Speedway has done prepping it. These drivers are able to run 2 wide.
Alfredo in that 54 holding off Austin Hill.
Oh, it's so
For
close.
the time being, it's Alfredo's first start here at Texas. Hadn't seen the place until today or this weekend. Yesterday, I guess, first practice.
I like the looks of that 16 truck for Austin Hill.
Oh, but man, Alfredo lays it right on his side.
Getting loose.
Yeah, that's
Inside. One more coming inside. Middle 3. Middle 3. Middle.
So tight.
Here inside.
4 wide in front of Stuart Friesen.
Wow.
Look at that 3 wide ahead of him.
In front of you here. 99 working the outside.
Garrett
outside,
Smithley.
42 in front.
Garrett Smithley in that 42. Austin Hill in the middle and Alfredo on the outside.
Outside here. Inside. 52 right at your quarter. Still middle. Staggered out. Still middle. Still middle. 52 only down on the bottom. 52 only down on the bottom.
Wow, I can't believe they made it.
How would you like to be Stuart Friesen and see those guys 4 wide right in front of you?
What about Matt Crafton? Junior Joyner made that strategy call. He's out ahead of all this mess, and I know he's thankful for that.
Another one up out of the groove. That's Todd Gilliland. Already had his issues tonight. Ben Rhodes in the 99 trying to take the position from Alfredo, and that's for 8th as Alfredo starts to slip back and Friesen takes advantage.
Outside. On you tight, outside, coming back to you. Here comes your help with a 16. Don't let you inside on the bumper, pushing you.
There was a strong exit off that corner for Alfredo in the 54.
Tyler Dipple slips high there in turns 2.
Jordan Anderson, who got a stage point, the second time in his career that he received stage points. Good job by Jordan Anderson.
Yeah, that team just keeps getting better and better, Phil. They're bringing nice-looking trucks to the track, and Jordan's up in there mixing it up.
Got a third of the way here through stage 2. Kyle Busch is out front, but Matt Crafton is right there in the shadows.
And look behind him. There's Ross Chastain.
Oh, it's Alfredo.
Alfredo hard in the outside wall.
So Anthony Alfredo, who had been side by side and had such a good, strong run going, quickly exiting his Toyota. That's the DGR Crosley camp in that 54 truck.
Good job, Kevin. What started that whole thing was he side drafted to 16 getting into the corner.
We saw Alfredo side draft a few laps back really tight on the side of another truck, and that truck got loose. That's really a risky game to play, Phil. You need to give the truck on the inside of you half a truck length width at least, in order to be able to make sure he makes it through the corner. Because if he gets loose, he's going to take you out too.
We saw teammates Grant Enfinger and Ben Rhodes racing for the end of that first stage, giving each other enough room so they could maneuver.
Several incidents tonight. We saw contact with Todd Gilliland, maybe getting squeezed a little bit by Ross Chastain early. Harrison Burton lost control, got loose, hit the wall. He's done for the night. We saw Angela Ruck, Gus Dean have issues. And here's Alfredo in that 54.
Just gets sucked around, but I think Alfredo was loose on the way in maybe, and it gave Friesen a run around the outside, and when Friesen made the move to the high side, it just pulled the 54 on around.
Yeah, it just robbed that truck of air, pushing that rear spoiler down, pushing the back of that truck down.
Alfredo quickly out of the truck and the exit. We saw the fire. What causes the fire that we see there?
We saw a fire during practice yesterday, and it was because of oil, a broken oil line that the headers ignited or something like that. Could be broken oil line or a broken fuel line. You can see something trailing behind that truck as it slid down the banking.
Not sure if they, maybe a tick of contact, but I don't know.
It doesn't even take the contact, just the air is enough to do it, Vince.
I think Alfredo was in trouble, but when he entered the corner, the truck was just a little bit loose with Friesen up on the outside, and it just spun him the rest of the way around.
You know, Stewart made a huge arc into the corner, because when they initially entered the corner, there was a gap in between those trucks. But Stewart had such a good arc and such a good run into the middle that when he got there, that's what robbed the air off the spoiler of that truck.
Well, also you can see right there, Alfredo was coming up.
Yeah.
Stewart left room. He just couldn't hold control of his truck.
Yeah, he was getting loose.
Six cautions already tonight. The record is 10. We're about halfway through stage 2. Anthony Alfredo, the latest victim.
I tried my best to clear the 54, but he was on my door tight. I think he was touching me. Yeah, I can see it. Hey, when they do that to you, man, you just got to back up. You got to taunt him out of the way, because he about wrecked you and 2 other guys with him. Friesen did the same thing to him that he did to me, so he got his medicine.
Welcome back to the Gander Outdoors Truck Series, Texas Motor Speedway, halfway through stage 2. And as you see, the trucks have come to a stop there on the backstretch, heading into turn 3 as the cleanup continues back in turn 2 for the Anthony Alfredo truck that got into the wall and put quite a bit of fluid down. Heavy damage to that 54. There's some radio from Austin Hill in the 16 in relation to maybe what happened there with the 54.
I tried my best to clear the 54, but he was on my door tight. I think he was touching me. Yeah, I can see it. Hey, when they do that to you, man, you just got to back up. You got to taunt him out of the way, because he about wrecked you and 2 other guys with him. Friesen did the same thing to him that he did to me, so he got his medicine.
Here's what they're talking about. The 16 and the 54 earlier.
16 got a little loose.
That was a couple of laps before the accident actually took place, but that's what the radio was discussing.
That created that 4 wide situation
that
Stuart Friesen had an eye full of.
Brett Moffitt said, "Thanks for opening the door, boys." Look at him work that wheel in there. Wow.
Wow. That's Garrett Smithley in the 42, and then this is what led to the incident.
Look how close it was to taking Stuart Friesen with him.
Yeah, we rode along with Stuart, and we saw him fighting the wheel to keep control of that truck.
With more on the 16 truck and team of Austin Hill. Alan?
Yeah, the other truck's not the only issue for the 16 in Austin Hill right now. Just after that incident, he radioed in that his engine was losing power. A few laps after that, his water light, the red light in there on the dash, started blinking. Water temperature at 250. They're trying to figure it out on the team radio right now how to proceed.
It's a bit of a break to stop, maybe let it cool off.
Yeah, but if it loses any water, that will never obviously be replaced unless they come in the pits and do that. And these engines will actually go into a safe mode if they get too hot. So that's why he would be losing power. How about Matt Crafton and the job that he and Junior Joyner have done? Let's see if we can talk to Matt. Hey, Matt Crafton, Phil Parsons and the boys in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. That's clear.
Matt, we listened to you and Junior talk about maybe pitting a couple cautions before the end of that stage. You didn't come that one, but you came the next caution. Junior made some changes to that truck, and now that thing looks like it's tuned up pretty good. You're hanging right there with Kyle. You got something for him?
Yes, Menard's Ford F-150 definitely a lot better on this run than it was last run. Clean air means so much. I mean, we definitely got the bat off our shoulders on that one, and he wanted me to come on the first one, and I talked him out of it, and then we came in on the next one after I lost the spot. So it's all about that checkered flag at the end of this race.
You guys talking about what maybe to do at the end of this stage? Well, obviously after this stage, we're going to have at least one more pit stop. Have you guys talked about that yet?
Oh yeah, it's going to be very interesting. All the different strategies, tire-wise, fuel-wise. So should be an exciting race without a doubt.
Matt, you can tell us what you're going to do. We won't tell anybody.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're going to take 6 tires.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
He's going to take one of them and hit you over the head with it.
He threw us off there, didn't he?
Harrison Burton, heavy contact earlier in the race, and he's out and has been checked and cleared from the medical center. He's with Alan.
Yes, the night ended early for Harrison Burton, but still plenty to learn. He's down here in Kyle Busch's pit right now. What happened out there on the track?
You know, it's so hard to know. I haven't been able to look too much at it, but it looked like the 45. Yeah, here's a replay. That's not the fun part, but you know, it looked like the 45 got really close to me and then kind of took the air off, but that's my job to hold on to it. That's how these trucks are. People are going to race you really, really hard, and that's how it should be. It's a lot of fun. So, you know, I should have done a better job of hanging on to it. Once I got loose when he took the air off my spoiler, I just wasn't prepared for it. So that's right. You know, always more to learn, always more to get better, and that's why I'm out here in the 51 pit trying to learn from the best in the business.
Glad to see you're all right.
What a great attitude from 18-year-old Harrison Burton.
Just love the, you know, taking responsibility. And we called it earlier. Sure, Ross was in and behind him, but, you know, you have to hang on to your truck. And Harrison, the veteran, who grew up around NASCAR, his dad, a racer, and he sounded like a veteran there with that interview, saying, I'm just here to learn, and I'm going to hang around with the best and do just that.
And he hasn't run that many mile and a half to be in situations like this.
The cleanup continues, still under red in Texas.
Kyle Busch 3 for 3 in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series this year. Kyle Busch in victory lane.
Kyle Busch makes history today. The winningest driver in Truck Series history is Kyle Busch.
The hometown hero, Kyle Busch, will cross the stripe and win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Kyle Busch for the 54th time in his career, the winner in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series.
Kyle Busch 3 for 3 in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series this year. Kyle Busch in victory lane.
Kyle Busch makes history today. The winningest driver in Truck Series history is Kyle Busch.
The hometown hero, Kyle Busch, will cross the stripe and win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Kyle Busch for the 54th time in his career, the winner in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. It's been a special season for Kyle in all three series, in fact. Gander Trucks, the Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup Series. As far as his teammates tonight, Todd Gilliland had that early contact, brought out the first caution of the night, pitted 5 times, but never lost a lap, stayed on the lead lap. He's 18th. Harrison Burton, we just heard from, not so fortunate. Of course, Kyle's up front, but it has been a battle for him tonight as well. Well, we saw the Alfredo incident, and Hermie is downstairs with Anthony.
Yeah, Vince, the good news is Anthony Alfredo has been checked in the infield care center and released. You don't take an easy hit anytime here at this racetrack, so glad you're okay. But here's a replay of what happened on the racetrack. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, I just got a little bit aero tight on the bottom there. I tried my best to keep it on the bottom, but Stuart Freese was also on my door tight there, so didn't have any space to chase it. It got loose when he sucked the air off the right side, which that happens in these trucks. They're very sensitive, so tried my best to hold on to it. Just didn't have the space to, so just ran out of room there. It's pretty early to be aggressive, but that's just, it's kind of a racing incident, I guess. That's what happens in these things. Like I said, I'm here to learn. Third race in a truck, third race on a 1.5 miles. I wish we could have finished it because we had an awesome Toyota Racing Tundra. My DGR Crosley crew did an incredible job all weekend. I made a mistake in qualifying, started 14th. I think we should have started in the top 5, but we pulled some strategy there, found ourselves up towards the front again, but unfortunately our day ended early.
Prior to that, you guys had a tremendous battle going on with you and the 16 and a couple other trucks. You mentioned you're here to learn, ultimately to win, but what can you learn about racing with guys like this in these types of situations?
You learn a lot, honestly. It's really cool for me just because I grew up watching pretty much all these guys Friday night racing and stuff. So to find myself not only out here with them, but racing side by side with them and beating some of them is really cool. Very grateful for my opportunity and thankful for everybody who helped made this year possible. We're running 13 races, so we've got 10 to go here. But I mean, look at that. That's awesome. They're running 3 wide for an entire lap. It's incredible, but so much fun. So we'll just take what we learned here and move on to Charlotte in May.
Glad you're okay, and Charlotte will be your next one.
Yes, thank you.
He'll be back on the track at Charlotte, Vince.
Great stuff from the 19-year-old Anthony Alfredo. Will turn 20 on Sunday, and liked his attitude too. I mean, we heard, said the same about Harrison Burton in his conversation, but a very mature approach to the learning curve, which is it can be pretty steep at this level.
And I love the excitement in his voice when he's watching that video with Hermie. He's like, look at that 3 wide for a whole lap around here.
What about our buddy Garrett Smithley? Nice run in that 42 truck. He's doing the Texas 3-step as well, running all 3 races this weekend. Nice effort here early in the going out of Peachtree City, Georgia.
Yeah, Robbie Lyons was scheduled to drive this 42 truck. Jeff Finley owns this truck, Chad Finley's father. And Garrett wanted to do the triple, and he and Robbie Lyons are good buddies, so Robbie stepped out so Garrett could do this and giving that truck a whale of a ride.
Brennan Poole up in the top 10 as well. Got a really exciting race ahead.
Getting close to finishing up the cleanup. Hopefully the trucks will be rolling when we come back. Probably, yeah. Can you call home? Halfway through stage 2, still under red here at Texas Motor Speedway as the cleanup continues after the incident involving Anthony Alfredo, and that's back in turn 2. You can see off in the distance, but they are close to having it cleaned up. A lot of fluid on the track, and has taken quite a bit of effort. You can see the remnants of the cleanup.
That's a mess, Vince.
It is indeed. And that turn's been tricky enough already tonight without...
Let's just make it more slippery, right?
Hey, what a great run from Bubba Wallace inside the top 5. Good to have him back in the 22 again tonight for the second week in a row.
Hey, we'll get a word with them. Hey, Bubba, it's your friend Mike and the boys from Fox. Are you tuning in? Bubba Wallace, Michael Waltrip, do you copy?
Hey, pal.
I'm telling you, you were so impressive at Martinsville, fighting to a top 10. Now you're up in the top 5 here tonight. Great job, and it's good to have you back in the trucks, buddy.
I appreciate it. Trying to have a little bit of fun. You know, it's good to be back in the Truck Series. It's been a long time, so trying to give old Eddie and the boys a good run tonight. Let's see what we got. Got a long way to go.
How does the truck feel? I mean, we've seen a lot of action. Have you been loose? Have you hanging on, or what's the feeling of your truck?
Hey, I remember having that rookie stripe and making the same mistakes that you've seen tonight. So I can't say anything. I'm just trying to steer clear of it. I've been there, done that. So it's this place is slick. These trucks are on edge. So it's fun to figure out and learn how to drive. We're just gonna get after it.
All right, bud. Thanks for the time, and have a fun rest of your night.
All right, brother. Y'all too. Appreciate it.
Slick and on edge. That'll do it.
That makes for good TV shows. Now, I don't like to see trucks wreck, but I like to see how hard these guys race and how they're willing to take chances and get that truck up toward the front. We see it down on pit road, the crew chiefs and engineers making decisions to get track positions, and then those drivers wrestling these trucks for all they're worth.
I'm like Anthony Alfredo. I love seeing those things 3 wide.
Red flag of almost 11 minutes. And you see some effort, some work being done there on the Austin Hill truck.
You know, racers are just wired a little differently, Phil, because now that I'm not in behind the wheel of a truck, when Alfredo said he was having fun, I'm playing, that doesn't look like that much fun to me. I mean, he about wrecked all the way around the racetrack, but man, it's just thrilling to get out there and run that hard and 3 wide on 1.5 miles at 170, 80 miles an hour. That's just good times.
Remember, we reported that Austin Hill was starting to overheat and losing a little bit of power, so looked like they took some tape off the grill on that 16 truck, so hopefully that'll be better.
Radio from Ben Rhodes' group.
Don't do that. What just passed you there? Yeah, a lot of these guys all night I've been watching make really questionable moves. I barely want to be, you know, even near somebody, let alone 4 or 5 wide. Like, I haven't been quite understanding it. Yeah, we'll be fine, man. Run all right.
Maybe some of the difference Bubba Wallace was talking about, the difference between being a veteran and being a rookie.
Yeah, Ben's been around here now. This is what his 3rd or 4th full season. So, you know, he's like Bubba. Bubba said, I was there, been there, done that. Same situation for Ben. You have to learn how these things react, and Ben does such a good job now being competitive week in, week out.
Yeah, the 22-year-old from Kentucky has proven his worth on the 1.5 miles. A couple of wins there. There's Brennan Poole. Golly, it's just fun to say these guys' names, guys we don't see up front a lot.
Home game for Brennan Poole, too. Got his start racing legend cars and Bandoleros right here at Texas Motor Speedway.
You know, it's not too early to start thinking about where you are positioned in the playoff standings as well, especially from a points perspective. And that regular season winds down quickly, and all of a sudden you got to find yourself scrambling for a playoff spot. You know, Rhodes was talking about it. He's only 14 to the good. Matt Crafton currently occupying that final position in the playoff mix, only 4 to the good. I mean, these are the kind of nights you want to make sure and take advantage of. Not have a costly night from a points perspective.
And you saw Brett Moffitt get loose on the last restart down in the middle of the turns 1 and 2, sideways, lost 6-8 positions, but was able to battle back inside the top 5 there. Matt Crafton's got to be really careful on these guys up front when they do this restart to make sure they're able to get through turns 1 and 2 with some momentum, not to fall back in the middle of the hornet's nest.
Kyle Busch will lead when we go back to restart. Alan?
And some great racing up front tonight. Kyle Busch not exactly driving away from anybody at the front of the field. I just asked his crew chief, Rudy Fugel, about that. He acknowledged it and said, we don't really know what we have in the 51 truck right now because of the pace of this race, the start and go of it all. They just don't really know what they have in terms of what they may have toward the end of the race. And he says as the temperatures cool down, the racing will only get tighter. So they're hoping for a green flag run toward the end of the stage here.
Yeah, I think we and I were talking about that at break, Phil, that this is interesting because when he does get the lead, he's not driving away from anybody. Crafton was able to track him down during that last run. So if we do get an extended green flag run, that's when you'll learn what your truck has and what you're going to need as the laps wind down.
And you have to think at some point we will get an extended green flag run. We haven't had it yet, that's for sure.
I don't know how you're supposed to know what your truck's going to feel like when you've only had a 7-lap green run. I mean, 7 laps is the longest green flag run we've had.
And exactly, that's what Kyle's talking about and Rudy's talking about. We really don't know where we're going to be in a 20-lap run or a 30-lap run.
How wild are those 7-lap runs we're having, though?
Getting ready for this restart with Kyle Busch on the inside in the 51 truck, and that is the 2-time champ, Matt Crafton, on the outside. Ross Chastain will line up behind Kyle in the green and white 45, and right next to Chastain is Bubba Wallace in the 22. Brett Moffitt and Brennan Poole side by side in row 3. The pace truck will pull off, and we will resume stage 2 here in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Back green. McDonald's, crank it up.
Bumper now, 24. Inside, bumper. Inside. That 24 is down there on the corner.
Crafton continues to chase Kyle Busch with Ben Rhodes right behind that Neon 88 in 3rd. Side by side, it's Moffitt and Chastain for 4th. Chastain's going to get it.
What a great run to the front for Grant Enfinger. He's overcome that penalty now, in touch with the leaders here. That's how strong that 98 truck is.
Yeah, we documented Stuart Friesen after starting at the back at the beginning of the race, but Grant Enfinger had to start at the back at the end of the first stage.
Back inside the top 10 is Enfinger, sitting in that 8th spot. Well, when we saw Friesen do it, we knew it was possible, and Enfinger has done it as well. So if that would happen to someone else yet this evening, they know they can get there.
Don't make me say it. Don't make me tell them, though, Vince.
Well, as the laps wind down, Vince, it's more and more critical to be perfect. You can't make mistakes late and overcome them. Oh, that's such close racing. Ross Chastain looked to the inside of Ben Rhodes, and Ben closed the door. And now that slowed down the momentum of Chastain, and here comes Moffitt.
Brett Moffitt taking advantage. Getting around Friesen, but now Friesen pulls up on the outside, side by side again.
See the Nice Motorsports truck of Chastain running 4th. Their teammates from GMS right there running in the 5th and 6th spot.
Here comes Austin Hill to pit road with 10 to go in the stage. Certainly an unscheduled stop. What's going on with the 16, Alan?
Well, remember those engine and water issues they were having before, power issues anyway. They came in after that red flag and took some tape off. The issues have not resolved themselves. They have to figure out what's going on around. They're pulling off all the tape from the front grille right now.
Well, a tough break for Austin Hill. Scott Zippadelli and the Hattori Racing Group was running 10th.
Good news is they have that win under their belts from Daytona, so we know they're in the playoffs.
Matt Crafton in that 88 there in the upper left-hand portion of your screen running 2nd. And look, boy, a near miss there with the 16 of Austin Hill trying to get woed up in time to get to pit road.
Nice job by the 17 of Tyler Ankrum to avoid the 16 of Austin Hill.
Check out this Ford truck battle for the lead. Ross has closed up on the back of the 99 of Ben Rhodes, and Ben's been all over Crafton. I think a veteran like Crafton's content to ride there for now. Phil, we talked about the fact that we haven't seen any longer runs. Maybe Crafton's filling out that truck, get some laps on it to see what adjustments he might need to share with his crew chief when they come to pit road here in a bit.
He might be satisfied running there right now, but we've interviewed him many times after races. He said, I'm tired of finishing second to Kyle Busch.
I think you're almost going to have to step out into that traction compound if you're going to make a move on Busch. He's anchored on the bottom. We've seen guys make passes up there.
This guy right here has made a lot of passes on the high side, Stuart Friesen.
Running 5th.
Draft is strong. He just run the fastest lap of anybody in the race.
Dude, darn right he did. 29.13.
One back, 98.
Nearly a half second better than Busch ran on that lap, and you can see those trucks ahead of him are getting bigger in his windshield.
That's Ross Chastain just ahead. How about the job Chastain has done, not just here in the Truck Series with top 10s in all 4 races, but what he's done in the Xfinity Series. He's running for the championship in the Xfinity Series, and he's also run all the Monster Energy Cup races this season.
And has planned on doing that for the foreseeable future till we start splitting off and having some standalones.
Chastain was able to get a top 10 finish in his first Daytona 500 for Jay Robertson and Premium Motorsports. That was an awesome run for that team, and Ross has been a fixture in the top 5 in the Truck Series this year and rides there again.
And I know
back, half lane higher, clear by 1. 3 back behind him.
Was talking to Ross, he said
4 to go right here this time. 4 more times.
I love running all those series. It just makes me a better race car driver. All these laps, different vehicles. He loves running Jay's Cup car. He loves running that Xfinity car and this Gander truck as well.
You heard the radio, 4 to go here in stage 2. This is the longest green flag run we've had all night.
We saw that last lap, Ben Rhodes in that black truck behind Matt Crafton. He ventured up toward the outer groove, made a little bit of ground, but wasn't able to get up beside Crafton.
Kyle has opened it up almost a second advantage over Crafton, but Crafton and Rhodes right there. If one should bobble, now if Crafton would happen to bobble, certainly Rhodes would get him, and maybe Chastain too.
See Ben looking around outside groove, just seeing if there's anything there. I like that. Let's experiment. Don't have any heat on me right now.
Exactly. Good time to do it. Not really. He's got about a half a second on Ross Chastain behind him, and the draft just pulls him right back up to the tailgate of Matt Crafton.
Pit lane is closed as we are in the final 2 laps here of stage 2. Grant Enfinger was the stage 1 winner. There's a look at Enfinger. He and Moffitt for 6th place. Moffitt's going to get it. Final lap here in stage 2. Matt Crafton in 2nd. Ben Rhodes, his ThorSport teammate, in 3rd. Both chasing Kyle Busch.
And a good points day for Ben Rhodes. 2nd that first stage. Looks like he's probably going to end up 3rd in this stage.
Kyle Busch through turn 4. Bringing it home, and for the 6th time this season, Kyle Busch is a stage winner. Stage 2 at Texas. 2 stages down, 1 final run to the checkers to come. The Gander Outdoors Truck Series at Texas. Two stages complete. The Gander Outdoors Truck Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. Ben Rhodes, the top point getter so far tonight. Stuart Friesen, Grant Enfinger, Brett Moffitt, all double figures. Been a quiet night for Johnny Sauter with just 2 points. A 5-time winner here at Texas.
Yeah, only 12th best in this second stage.
A couple of unscheduled pit stops for Johnny Sauter, working on that truck. We're under the hood, adjusting the suspension.
We're going to put 4 on here, so it opens up the strategy in that last final stage, Mike.
We saw guys with no tires on the first stage break, so it'll be interesting to see. It'd probably be a mixed bag, Phil.
I would think so. Some 2 and some 4, I would think.
Here comes Kyle Busch leading them down. That's Matt Crafton right behind him. Ben Rhodes, Ross Chastain, Stuart Friesen, the top 5. First one we'll check in with is Hermie Sadler.
The 99 of Ben Rhodes, a little bit snug at the end of that run, Vince, but it'll be 4 tires and fuel and a wedge adjustment to the left rear. Alan.
Hermie, we saw 51, Kyle Busch in the middle of your screen, extend the lead toward the end of that last stage. Everything good, said it's getting a little bit tighter. 4 tires and fuel for the leader of Kyle Busch in the 51. On the bottom of your screen, Matt Crafton said the adjustments in that second stage, much better. We saw him come up through the field. 4 tires for the 88.
Kyle Busch, the first one off pit road. Johnny Sauter didn't take any tires.
Yeah, fuel only for Johnny Sauter, trying to get some of that clean air, Vince.
Of those that took tires, it was Kyle Busch.
Let's see if we can talk to our stage 2 winner. Hey, Kyle Busch, Phil Parsons and the boys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going, Phil?
Good, buddy. Going pretty good for you, too. That truck looks awfully good, but it really looks like it's challenging out there, Kyle. We've seen so many guys get out of shape over there, especially in turns 1 and 2. Is it pretty slippery over there?
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure why it would be more slippery than usual for all these truckers. You know, they've been here a few times on this pavement, but for some reason today, yeah, it's a little bit slick. So having to kind of take it easy. I had a couple moments where I about busted my butt. But you know what? We got a pretty good Cessna Tundra, so hopefully we can stay up front here.
All right, but you've had an amazing start to 2019. Keep it rolling.
Thank you very much.
Kyle's led 42 laps tonight, the most laps led. Brett Moffitt has been out front for 23 laps. Grant Enfinger has led 8. And there's Austin Hill back on pit road as they continue to address that overheating problem that has plagued them.
Looks like they're going to hook up the cool down machine and try to refill that that engine with water.
He's currently running 26, Vince, and he got around Kyle Busch coming to the green and white checkered for the end of that stage. Got one of his laps back, but he's still 4 laps off the pace, so not a lot of chance to get those back.
There's only one other truck in front of him that's not on the lead lap, and that's Timmy Hill.
Take a look at our Xfinity fastest pit stops of that last sequence on lap 73 with Brett Moffitt's crew getting it done. 4 tires in 16 seconds.
Good job by them. Kyle Busch's crew also on the money with a sub 17-second pit stop.
Johnny Sauter, a little bit of strategy play. No tires, just gas and go to get that track position. What do you think?
I like it. We've seen guys do just gas only, Vince, and able to hang on and keep a pretty good pace. So they had to rebound. They had to figure out a way to get back in the game, and their strategy was to not take tires in this at the end of this stage. It'll be interesting to see if he can hang on. He's going to have Kyle Busch on his outside.
I think it's about clean air. I think Joe Shear wants to see what that truck will do in clean air, and if he can stay up there in close proximity to the lead, then when their next pit stop comes in this final stage, then he'll have the track position that he needs.
Well, he said it had been a bit of a quiet night for Sauter, and that move makes a little noise and certainly does put him up there in the mix. We'll see if he can indeed hold some of that track position. Well, Sheldon Creed has returned. We heard earlier report when he was behind the wall, broke a jack bolt, and they have repaired and put him back out.
Jack bolt's part of the rear suspension, and something you rarely hear fail but it broke.
Yeah, it's basically a screw about an inch in diameter of steel screw. Now, people used to run aluminum jack screws, but NASCAR outlawed those. They have to be steel, and unfortunately he broke one.
Johnny Sauter, Kyle Busch, Matt Crafton, the top three as we get ready for this restart. 10 Texas wins among them. And if you're going to win this race tonight, in all likelihood, you're going to have to beat one of those three to do it. And the guy right behind Kyle Busch, Brett Moffitt, may be just the guy that can get it done. He has been fast, but it's Sauter leading us back to green. Stage 3 underway in Texas.
Nice break by Johnny, huh?
That was a great launch on those older tires. A little bit harder to get the grip on those older tires, but Johnny did a great job.
And look at him. Look at him drive off turn 2, able to keep the lead.
How about Brett Moffitt jumps to the outside of the 51 of Kyle Busch.
Moffitt and Busch door to door for second. Moffitt gets it. Wow.
Look at Ben Rhodes, 3 wide. Gets to the inside of Matt Crafton and is going to bring Stuart Friesen along with him.
How about Ross?
Inside 3, still 3. Clear top, inside full.
Rhodes lost the nose of that 99 truck and hit the 98 truck.
That's his teammate.
And both those guys did an amazing job saving him.
Tyler Ankrum inside to make it 3 wide.
That was bold, I'm going to tell you. Squeezed into a hole that was barely there and made it work.
Now Enfinger trying to fight his way back after getting loose and losing a few positions. And remember, Enfinger's already gone to the tail once from a penalty earlier tonight.
What about that black number 97 truck? That's Jesse Little. He finds himself up there battling for a spot inside the top 10. Been quiet, haven't talked about Jesse. Check this run out.
The 17 of Ankrum. How does he put it in there, Mike?
It
Wow.
just hangs on to it, too. That's so tricky.
Such a bad angle, and when we talk about those trucks getting loose when you had somebody on the right rear quarter panel.
Inside, 52, inside 3, still 3. Clear top, inside full.
Look at those trucks.
Inside 3 wide. Middle clear.
That should have been an accident. Rhodes getting in there to the back bumper of Enfinger.
It was an accident. It just didn't happen.
Look at this battle for the lead. Moffitt's trying to take it on the high side. He's not going to make it. That's going to open the door for Busch.
Wow. Side by side now for second. Kyle Busch, can he make the run to the front and get to Sauter's back bumper? Maybe get the draft to get around him for the lead again.
I think that 13 truck likes that clean air.
Got to have a veteran like Johnny Sauter that will let a crew chief make those decisions and say, you're going to stay out on no tires. Are you sure that's a good idea, Joe Shear? Yes, the crew chief says.
It was a gas and go for Sauter to get in the track position, and he's out front. Going to break, but you won't miss a thing. Going to keep on trucking. You saw it at home side by side. Kyle Busch regaining the lead. Johnny Sauter went from leading the race to back in 5th. And how about the 22 of Bubba Wallace with some significant left front damage?
How's that tire not smoking worse than it is? I saw a little whisk of smoke off of it.
Man, he hit something hard.
He really did. That's a lot of damage. And there is a little bit of smoke there, Michael, for sure.
It doesn't take much to.
So fender's broke now, rubbing that left front. Just let me know if you need to come. They'll be ready.
Tough break for Bubba Wallace, who made his debut in this truck, the 22, last week at Martinsville. Finished 10th, was inside the top 10 a fair amount tonight, but right now having a problem back in 14th and coming to pit lane.
A solid run, though, for Corey Roper. We haven't talked a whole lot about Corey. He's a Texas short tracker making the move to the Truck Series right now, running in the 13th spot.
Bubba trying to get it woed up.
Well, it looked like it might have been close there. Looked like he was carrying some pretty good speed when he came across the line.
Alan Cavana waiting on Bubba Wallace to arrive.
And he didn't say much for a long time, but just couldn't hold out any longer. So you heard him saying, we're coming to the pits. They're making left side tire change right now, and they'll assess the damage, see what they can do for Bubba Wallace in the 22 truck.
Yeah, that's significant up front. As I see the crew taking a look and certainly pitting under green.
It's like there's nothing to tie it to. That's the problem.
Meanwhile, right side of your screen, Kyle Busch continues to pick him up and lay him down, and he will have led 50 laps this time by.
But right in his rearview mirror, you can see that 24 truck of Brett Moffitt. He's just as fast as Busch, but I think, Phil, the closer he gets, the harder it is for him to hang on to the front of his truck. Getting in that dirty air behind Kyle's making his truck slip up in the corner.
For third, Stuart Friesen in the 52, Ben Rhodes in the 99. There's been some close quarters racing between these two tonight at multiple occasions.
Just an amazing job by Stuart Friesen, though. Well documented. He had to go to the back because of an engine change. Made his way up to the front fairly quickly. Oh, and he got loose again.
Just shows you how hard it is to hang on to those trucks when they're down on the bottom.
The 99 of Ben Rhodes in third, Hermie.
Yeah, Vince, right now the 99 is just too loose. When they came down pit road, they put 4 sticker tires on the truck, and they made an air pressure adjustment to the left rear tire to maybe compensate for being freer on stickers, but he cannot manhandle the truck, does not have enough lateral grip, he says, to really be competitive. The 24 putting a little heat right now on the 51.
Boy, indeed. And Mike, you made the point, when he gets up to the back bumper of Kyle Busch, then it seems like he loses the front of the truck. Let's see now as he's 2/10 or less behind the 51 of Busch.
Look at that run he got off the corner. Nice momentum there as he exits. I like him trying to hang the right side of that truck out on the high side. As you see him doing there, that's just going to free up the air and maybe make that high groove work. That was a nice turn. And what he did there, what Moffitt did there, was just moved over so he could get fresh air on the nose of that truck. And he's just inching up there, just a little bit of a time at a time, trying to see if there's anything available on the higher side.
3 straight top 5s for Moffitt, including a runner-up finish to Kyle at Las Vegas.
Yeah,
knocking on the door again.
And Kyle's getting, this was,
he got a shot. That was back at Las Vegas. Very similar. You know, he got right to that back bumper late in the race, and that moment right there, and then he lost the front end, just as you indicated here in this race.
Yeah,
Mike.
It's been the same thing, but I like what he's doing here, making moves in different parts of the racetrack to try to see if there's anything available. Plus, I think he knows he's faster than Kyle because he's able to lose a little bit of ground and then just drive right back up to him.
There may be an opportunity with 53 laps to go. These guys are in their window. They could make it to the end if the caution were to come out now and they stop. Maybe an opportunity for Brett Moffitt maybe to do right side tires, or if he can beat Kyle off pit road and maybe grab the lead away on pit road, and that clean air may do the reverse of what's going on now. Kyle may struggle doing the same thing that Brett's trying to do right now.
Well, these crew chiefs are watching what happened to Johnny Sauter. Johnny didn't get any tires. He led this race for a while. He's fallen back to 7th, but they certainly know that that's an option, that Johnny held on pretty well on those older tires.
And he was only running 12th at the end of that second stage, so as of right now, it's been an improvement for Johnny Sauter.
1-2, Busch and Moffitt. Moffitt continues to stalk the all-time wins leader. Got to take another break. Coming to 50 to go, but you won't miss a thing. Side by side, going to keep on trucking from Texas. The Gander Outdoors Truck Series from Texas Motor Speedway. You saw it during the commercial break. The defending champ in that 24 truck, Brett Moffitt, passing the all-time wins leader, Kyle Busch, for the lead. And this is what it looked like. Moffitt with the great move, that air and around the outside. Wow.
See, Kyle kind of slipped up off the bottom a bit there, and Brett had learned that outside lane. Oh, trouble.
Corbin Forrester in the 7. Hard into the wall.
He was running on the lead lap, Vince, in the 17th position. And then right there where we've seen so much trouble tonight.
Same spot.
Yeah, just off turn 2. It got away from him.
Now it's up to the crew chiefs. Do we put 2 tires on? Do we do fuel only? There's Rudy Fugle right there. He's the guy calling the shots for Kyle Busch.
Jerry Baxter down pit road a bit there.
It's only been about 30 laps since we stopped, and not all of those green flag laps because of the laps after the caution was displayed and after the pit stop.
Saw the call there for 4 tires. That's kind of weird looking.
Yeah.
Maybe racing with the 42 of Garrett Smithley.
Maybe trying to avoid something that looked like he...
Oh, just probably slipped a little bit on entry. The back end got out, maybe overcorrected, possibly.
What it looked like, yeah.
Jesse Iwuji got around that. Fortunate not to get collected in the Corbin Forrester spin. Under caution for the 8th time tonight.
It's nearly a record, isn't it, Vince?
It is 10, the most we've ever had here at Texas. The majority of them have happened right over there where Corbin Forrester sits, or at least that's where they've come to a stop, because that at the center of the turn between 1 and 2 to the exit of turn 2 has just been eating them up tonight.
That truck looks just about identical to Harrison Burton's truck. Had very similar damage.
Tough break for Forrester.
These teams, guys, have a playbook, you know, and they're going to make a decision based on what they've learned tonight. But they have a playbook that says if there's a caution within 40 to go, we're going to get 2, or we're not going to get tires. And obviously, that playbook has to be varied from once you learn what your truck likes or what your trucks do. But there's some playing it by the seat of your pants, but I think they really try to go by a plan.
Yeah, I think none or 2 is the plan here. I think that would be the way to go here. I don't think 4 tires you would have enough time to overcome it.
I don't know. I think 4 for Kyle Busch might be the call. I just have a feeling that he wants those fresh tires so he can be aggressive.
And how much of that depends on what the others, how many of the others do the same thing in regards to where your track position ends up being no matter what you
But
choose.
it's hard to know what they're going to do. I'm sure they monitor other teams, so sometimes there's codes and they don't want to give away and play their hand.
Okay, Phil, you're Kyle Busch. You're coming to pit road here. What are you telling Rudy Fugle you want?
I want 2 right side tires.
I like it.
Because I want their track position.
All right, if I'm Brett Moffitt and I'm Jerry Baxter, I want 2 tires as well, because I've already proven I can beat the best. I just passed him. Give me 2 tires. I don't want to lose all my track position. But I think some of our front runners, a couple of them, might gamble with no tires and maybe even gamble for 4 tires.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be all over the board here.
Well, that's what we like.
Yeah. You got to have a differing strategy at times from your competitors to gain that track position. We saw Johnny Sauter get no tires and take the lead and drive off for a while.
And really only fell back to 7th. So I think that was a great call by Joe Shear. Now, I think for Johnny Sauter, it may be 4, but certainly 2 tires at least for Johnny Sauter.
The cleanup continuing over in the exit area of turn 2.
Our safety personnel over off turn 2 is getting quite the workout tonight. A lot of action over there. Looks like they're hooked up to the 7 truck.
Stuart Friesen started this race at the rear after qualifying in the top 10. Runner-up here a year ago, back up into the 5th position. And Stewart's a tall guy, and you might notice, I mean, look at his knees all the way up there against the dash.
Michael had to fought that same thing his entire career.
But the thing about the trucks, you got plenty of headroom, but not a lot of leg room. And you can see Stewart's crunched in there pretty good.
What a great following Friesen has, not just here in the Truck Series, but a fan favorite from out east and all the big block modified stuff that he runs.
He always says thank you to them too, and appreciates his fans. And I just appreciate the way he grew up and the way he races. He's an aggressive driver and fun to watch.
The pits are open. These stops could determine the race right here. You cannot afford a penalty or a miscue on pit road. Brett Moffitt's leading them down. Alan Cavana and Hermie Sadler will have the action. Hermie?
The 99 of Ben Rose at the top of your screen. Started a little bit on the tight side, then went loose. No tires for the 99, just a wedge adjustment. You see the 24, Brett Moffitt, in the center of the screen. 2 right side tires are on for the 24. He's too tight going around to the left side. He is too tight out front. Alan.
The call is 2 tires. Kyle Busch already out. The 51 already out of his pit stall. 2 tires for Kyle Busch. Said he was just too loose to the point where he couldn't even hold it through turns 1 and 2. That's when we saw the 24 go by him on the track.
Well, there you see it. We talked about the differing strategies, and that's exactly what happened. We'll sort it out when we come back. The Gander Outdoors Truck Series in Texas. Well, as we previewed that pit stop or the round of pit stops, we talked about the choices, taking 4 tires, taking 2 tires, gas only. We saw a little bit of everything.
All of it, absolutely.
That's why I got you guys up here. Here's Ben Rhodes. This was fuel only, but took him a while.
Looks like maybe he's having issues getting the gas in out of that can. And he was only probably going to need 1 can of gas filled, but I think maybe he just didn't think he got enough in there with that first can.
Yeah, that first can still looked heavy when the guy behind the wall grabbed it, so undoubtedly it didn't take the fuel out of that first can.
Now watch the right rear on the 24 of Moffitt gets hung up.
Boy, Moffitt did a nice job of diving into that pit, right? And putting that jack post right where the jackman was standing. But this stop was lengthy.
And 4 tires, and he comes out just about exactly with a 99 of Ben Rhodes, who took no tires. Several of the trucks in front of them with either no tires or 2 tires.
We got 40 laps to go, 38 when we go greenfield. Ben Rhodes, you see Brett Moffitt there, and Kyle Busch is on the front row. They got their work cut out for them.
The only 2 trucks in the top 10 that took 4 tires are the 52 of Friesen and the 24 right there at Brett Moffitt.
Kyle Busch and Matt Crafton on the front row for this restart. Everybody should be good to go from here on gas. It's just racing to the finish at Texas.
See Ross Chastain on the back of Crafton in that yellow truck. That's going to be a nice draft.
Chastain down to the inside, battling Crafton for second.
Yeah, here comes Friesen and Moffitt up through the middle. Look at the 2 blue trucks.
Wow. Ben Rhodes in the mix of that in the middle of the 99, backs out.
Caught a glimpse of the 0-2 of Tyler Dipple for a moment. How about Ross Chastain going after Kyle Busch?
Took a look on the outside, tucks back, and here comes Crafton again. Infinger trying to push the 88.
Look at Moffitt. 4 wide around the outside.
4 top, 3 top, 3 top.
Wow.
3 top.
What racing.
Still 3, just 1 inside.
And especially through that turn 2 area that's been so dicey all night. They all got through.
17 truck on the inside of Moffitt. Tyler Ankrum doing a nice job. No tires for that young man on that pit stop.
Still 3 wide back there. That's Johnny Sauter on the inside.
Jesse Little with his hands full in that 97 truck. Looked like he was loose down in 3 and 4. Hung on to it. That's going to open the door for Ben Rhodes.
Boy, Rhodes has fallen way back, though, after being right there up in the mix. He got in the middle of that 4 wide, backed out of it, and lost several positions, now trying to gain them back.
When he had that long pit stop, Vince, with no tires on that truck, that dirty air is hard to handle, really hurting Ben's chances.
Now Friesen up, challenging for 3rd with Chastain, side by side.
These guys trying to make those 4 tires pay off.
See right behind Chastain, that's Moffitt. He and Friesen, the 2 trucks with the 4 fresher tires.
They don't want to spend a whole bunch of time racing these other trucks. They need to save what they have, try to get by these trucks, get up there and try to race that 51 of Kyle Busch. But Matt Crafton's looking strong right now too with his 2 tires.
Crafton, a 2-time Texas winner, but it's been a long time since he's been in victory lane. Oh, how big it would be if he could get past Kyle Busch for the win here tonight. Friesen closing in on the 88 of Crafton for second. Great view. This is what Stuart Friesen's seeing.
1.5 back.
Tom glanced in the mirror there for a moment to see where his teammate Brett Moffitt is.
Ran a little bit wider entry there. Then down to the bottom in the
2
center.
behind us here, 24 just cleared, 1 back, 24. Half back.
24 is already proven he knows how to work that top.
Working top, half a groove higher.
And the word is out with all these drivers. Moffitt made a pass for the lead on the outside. Be ready for that.
He's not going to sneak up on anybody. They know what he can do on that outside line. Looks like Stuart Friesen's going to try that line and try to get around Matt Crafton.
For second, Friesen got it.
He's been second 4 times in a truck and never won. Could tonight be the night?
Rhodes and Tyler Ankrum, and now Ross Chastain making a move for 7th. Bringing Johnny Sauter with him. Moffitt now taking the position from Crafton. Moffitt into 3rd.
4 tires is looking better, isn't it, Michael?
Yes, I'm loving it.
Caution, turn 2 again. And it's Cody Robaugh.
Looks like another 3 or 4 trucks we've seen tonight.
Same damage, same place. 15th he was running under yellow now.
Yeah.
After tonight, next on the list, the Monster Mile, Dover. Well, some great racing at that place. Can't wait.
It is a monster event.
No place tougher, that's for sure. So much action, so much speed. Probably the most thrilling ride in all of NASCAR when you dive one of those trucks down into the corner.
Pit stops, Ross Chastain, he's been in the mix tonight inside the top 10, challenging for the lead at times.
I like this plan. I don't think he felt like he could win the race from where he was, so let's mix it up. And put some tires on now.
It took Friesen and Moffitt less than 10 laps to get right back up front. So I'm with you, Phil. I like what Ross and the team is doing there.
You see Cody Robaugh on the hook under caution for the 9th time, and this is why. You'll see Robaugh in this green and black truck come right out of that circle that Phil so artistically put on the screen.
He was pointed right at us, was the 9 truck of Robaugh when he was down in the middle of the corner, and that's not a good thing.
Well, let's talk to these crew chiefs and see what kind of strategy they might be playing. Alan starts us off.
Stuart Friesen has been in this position before, threatening for a win, not yet getting that first career victory, though. His crew chief, Chip Bruce, what does he need to do to beat Kyle Busch tonight?
Well, right now, I I'm not sure if Kyle's got 2 tires or no tires, but I don't believe he's got 4. I know we got 4 on the last stop. I mean, so he took 2. Yeah, that could help, of course. I mean, he's in good company up front. All these trucks are fast, good drivers. I can't really predict how it's going to turn out. I know the race started out so slow with the 2 and 3 lap runs here and there made it really difficult to figure out what to do for the long run, but it looks like we've nailed it, I hope. So, 4 tires, restart, and let Stewart do his thing.
Hermie?
Well, Alan, Jerry Baxter is the crew chief for Brett Moffitt. The 51 has 2 tires. You and the 52 have 4 tires. Have you given your driver what he needs to win this race?
I think we have the whole race. I mean, the Legionnaire Chevy's been pretty damn good, but had a little miscue there on the pit road on that last stop. They've been flawless all night until then, but I think we got time to get back. I think we can do this.
His driver's up on the wheel trying to get back to the front.
3 straight top 5s for Jerry Baxter and his driver Brett Moffitt in that 24 team, and he has been knocking on the door, getting it done, and looks like he's maybe got the truck to do it tonight. Whether or not it ends up playing out that way, but at least I think he's got the piece to work with.
You know, we've spent a little time with Brett and around Brett, and I don't know that there's anybody any hungrier to get a win than Brett is. He wants to make this move to GMS, the Allegiant team. He wants people to know that that was the right move, and he wants to take that truck to victory lane.
Well, he did something earlier that we've only seen done like once or twice this year. He passed Kyle Busch. They were heads up, and he took them down. I'm sure that gained confidence in Moffitt. He knows that he can make that high side work. He certainly is going to be starting on the bottom, Friesen up on top.
And you know, there's been a lot of talk about Kyle coming down to the Truck Series and running these races, but these guys, whether it's Friesen or Moffitt, they'd like nothing better than to win this race by beating the best. And they got the opportunity.
That's what tonight's all about.
Yep.
We make so much about Kyle and his dominance. Well, when these truckers line up versus him and they're able to take him down, that just tells you how good our young truck racers are.
See those who have finished runner-up to Kyle this season: Johnny Sauter, Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes. And I think they'll all maybe have a shot yet tonight. They're all up in position inside the top 10.
See that white and green truck in the back there? That's Ross Chastain. He's going to line up 15th. It'll be fun to watch that truck come through the field with those 4 fresh tires. If he can get inside the top 10 in just a couple of laps and then up toward the top 5, he'll be a fun truck to watch in the closing laps.
Another aggressive driver that isn't afraid to put his nose somewhere. Let's give a call to the 4. You see the right in front of Ross, the 4 of Todd Gilliland. Just soldiered on, caused the first caution flag. Marcus Richmond and his guys kept working on that truck, He stayed on the lead lap, and he's got a shot at a top 10 finish possibly.
Yeah, good points night for Gilliland being salvaged tonight as compared to the DNF that he could have taken early in the race. Kyle Busch inside, Stuart Friesen outside. When they take the green, there will be 25 to go.
Matt Crafton wanted to get down to the inside, and Grant Enfinger already had his nose there.
Moffitt up to second, uses the run on the bottom to get by Friesen.
Busch leads Moffitt into turn 3. Side by side for third, it's Enfinger and Friesen.
Man, this is good stuff, isn't it? I love the uncertainty of who's going to have the best truck.
Johnny Sauter starting to work his way up into the mix as he challenges his teammate Matt Crafton. And here comes Moffitt for the lead, side by side with Kyle Busch.
Still there, door. 52, 1 back. Just 51. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Look where Kyle is running now. He moved up to that second lane, Michael.
That's because he didn't have any choice. He ran down in there wide open and went straight. The truck didn't turn. I thought Moffitt had the pass made. Kyle hangs on.
And Friesen taking advantage of Moffitt's struggle, and Friesen pulling side by side, trying to get that runner-up position, maybe take his shot at Kyle Busch.
Enfinger slipped a little bit. Now Kyle is aware of those guys back there. He's going to move that truck all around here. Try to make it wide.
Friesen gets second from Moffitt. Now Friesen will have an opportunity to take a run. Teammates battling for 6th, Crafton and Enfinger. Now Moffitt back to the side and the door of Friesen.
That 24 truck is so good down in 1 and 2. Looks like maybe equal down in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is where he really has to make the move.
And here comes Ben Rhodes and Johnny Sauter. What a top 5.
And don't forget about Ross Chastain. He's in 11th in that second pack back there.
Friesen taking a look on the outside. Now ducks back underneath.
Kyle opens up the bottom of the racetrack.
And Friesen to the inside now to challenge. Stuart Friesen and Kyle Busch for the lead.
Control your entry, outside, outside.
Side by side. Can Friesen close the door?
24 coming to the bumper here, watch the bottom here.
Moffitt trying to help. Moffitt gets loose and gathers it up, almost collects Rhodes.
There was contact. A lot of contact. Look at the right rear corner of that 24 Moffitt.
The Gander Outdoors 20 to go, and we've got one up to the wall. Moffitt.
Flying up under you. Still coming, still coming.
Flat right rear after that contact.
Meanwhile, Sauter now challenges for second.
What'd you say, Vince? Where'd he come from?
Sauter continues to march forward as Moffitt tries to salvage it and get it to pit lane. Wow.
That's all I can say. My palms are sweating. These guys are racing so hard. We know Moffitt probably had the best truck. Now it's up to Stuart Friesen to chase down Kyle Busch.
Look at the damage on that 4th place running Ben Rhodes, that left front corner of that truck where he got into the back of Brett Moffitt.
Tell us about the 24, Hermie.
Well, the left side is clear, but all the damage and issues are on the right side of the 24. You can see Fender got in on the right rear tire. They've already taken the tire off completely flat. The inner liner holding it up, but a costly situation for the 24.
Boy, heartbreak for Brett Moffitt, Jerry Baxter in that group. You heard that interview with Baxter. They felt like they had the truck to beat Kyle Busch tonight. Not going to happen.
Ross Chastain into 6th spot. He can crack the top 5 in another lap or 2. Watch that 45 truck.
Here comes Anchorman getting by Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes' truck is crippled by that damage.
And here's what caused it. Watch the 99 get into the back of the 24 right here.
I think that truck just developed a push right there in that dogleg, Phil. With all that dirty air ahead of him, he simply just couldn't turn to the left, and it caused contact.
Brett did an amazing job holding onto that truck with that right rear tire flat.
Hoping maybe
I think he's just not thirsty anymore.
He's had enough of that. Maybe one of the options.
Yeah, something like that. Look at Friesen. Last time by, fastest truck on the track.
Here's Crafton and Infinger fighting it out for 4th.
They got to settle this if they want to win this race.
Ross Chastain. Ross says, give me a lane. Just give me one lane. I've got new tires, guys.
Thorsport trucks running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And Chastain is right there in 6th, trying to gain some of their positions.
And in 7th there, Vince, is Tyler Ankrum. Remember, we heard the young racer say, we're just going to keep the fenders on and run all the laps tonight. Sounded like a veteran, and man, he's driven like one up inside the top 10.
How about Stuart Friesen? He's closed on Kyle Busch. Taking a look. Remember, Friesen got 4 tires. Busch took 2.
Kyle Busch wanted to take that outside lane away from Stuart Friesen.
How special would it be after so many near misses, 2nd place finishes, Stuart Friesen get the first win of his Gander Trucks career by taking down Kyle Busch, and he's got the truck to do it right now. Look at this run.
He sure does.
Friesen runner-up in this race a year ago.
He's got one of the absolute best we've ever had in this business to try to get around right now.
Look at the difference. You've got Kyle Busch, the leader, the all-time wins leader in Gander Trucks history, and Stuart Friesen looking for his first ever win in the series.
Look at this run. You can see really gains in the corner. Can he get to the inside?
In front of you guys, the 10 truck, 12 to go.
right there. If Kyle wiggles, Friesen has it.
Kyle is going to use every bit of experience he has to keep that 52 truck behind him.
And Friesen's truck doesn't seem to lose the nose quite like Moffitt's did when we saw Moffitt get up and challenge right up under the back bumper.
But I don't think he's quite as good on the high side in 1 and 2 as Brett's truck was.
And lap traffic is going to affect these trucks. You could see Kyle up and around a slower truck, and it allowed Friesen to close right in.
Less than 0.2 of a second separate the two.
Whoa!
Oh! Jesse Awuji right there in that white 34. 10 laps left.
Jesse running on the lead lap till just now, down in the 17th position. Good job by that young man.
If you switched over to FS1 looking for Major League Baseball whip around, stay tuned. Coming up next right here on FS1. Immediately following the conclusion of the Gander Outdoors Truck Series here at Texas. Final 10 laps.
You got to go here, 10 to go.
You got to watch
Square
these.
up with him and set him up. You know what to do.
Is there a spot on the track that you feel like maybe Kyle is a little vulnerable, that if Friesen's going to make his move, that's the place?
Well, he just seems to not get off turn 2 as well as Friesen, but getting to Kyle and around him is two different things. Moffitt did it perfectly earlier. I know the spotters watched that and gave the information to Stuart Friesen. He's vulnerable if you can get to his outside.
He gets a good run right there. Is he going to get to the outside?
Taking a look. Couldn't make the move.
Yes, he's going to try to cross him over, you think, Phil? No, just can't quite get there. And you hear him out of the gas.
Lost the front end.
Kyle Busch has led the most laps tonight. He's led 8 times for 91 laps, but none have been easy. He has been chased throughout the course of the night. And right now, he's being haunted by the 52 of Stuart Friesen.
I don't think Stuart can get in turn 1 quite as good as Brett Moffitt. We hear him when we ride with him. Back off a little bit early. You can see Kyle open that gap up as they enter turn 1.
Look at the lap truck up ahead of Kyle. He'd like to get by him on the straightaway, not have to deal with him down in turn 1.
About 10 in front of him to 3.
That's the 3 of Jordan Anderson, and he's going to be in the low groove in 1 and 2.
6 laps left. Friesen chasing Kyle Busch. Friesen trying to win for the very first time in his career, but had to get out of it there and lost a little bit.
Wasn't a good corner for Stuart.
Starting to lose the time now. You've got to make your move. Got to get up there and get it done, and you're running out of time. Coming to 5 laps left for Kyle Busch and Stuart Friesen.
That's as big a lead as Kyle's had in the last 10 laps or so.
The lap traffic, Jordan Anderson threw Stuart off of his game a bit down in turns 1 and 2, but you can really draft up on these trucks. She's got that 6, 8, 10 truck length deficit, getting a good tow down the straightaways though.
Some more lap trucks up there that they're going to have to negotiate.
Four laps remaining.
One more time.
Friesen at one time was between 1/10 and 2/10 of a second right behind Kyle, but now it's 8/10.
I think the handle's gone away on Stuart's trucks down in 1 and 2. Like you said, Phil, a lot of out of the gas down there. Still sounds good down here.
You can see that lap traffic ahead of Kyle Busch that Kyle's going to have to navigate right here.
It won't take much of a block here to slow Kyle down. He gets by that first truck fairly easily.
Major League Baseball whip around coming up next on FS1. Stay tuned, but you tuned in at the right time because you're seeing a great finish.
You're clear. 22 in front. 2 more times when you get here.
Kyle Busch trying to hold off Stuart Friesen. 3 miles left, 2 laps to go. Friesen, runner-up here a year ago. So close again tonight.
I still think it was the right call for Stuart Friesen. Oh, Ross completely sideways. Matt Crafton going around him.
Big save by Chastain. Last thing Kyle Busch wants to see now is a caution. He wants to run it out. The white flag waves. 1 lap remaining. Friesen continues his pursuit.
How many second place finishes did you say that Stewart has?
This would be 5.
This one's going to hurt the most. Felt like he had the measure of Kyle Busch, but late, just the last couple of laps, the handling went away and he slipped back.
Closing in, Kyle Busch. For the 4th consecutive race this season, Kyle Busch is the winner, victorious at Texas.
Good job, driver. Way to be perfect there at the end. That's what it takes. Really good job, Hirschman. You guys are awesome. Thanks for
5 consecutive starts dating back to last season. Kyle Busch has put it in victory lane in the Ganders Truck Series. 4 races in a row this season.
Just quite amazing, really.
He earned it tonight. Kyle Busch, the winner in Texas. Thanks a lot, Kevin. And of course, here tonight, celebrating another Kyle Busch win, 50.